This is transcriber W here for interview 5. Okay, so we're just going to talk a little bit about the Tippy Toes Tier 1, which is the first part that you guys participated in. How would you describe the overall effectiveness of the training and the coaching that related to Tier 1 practice?
I think she did a really awesome job. She opened our eyes to a different way of communicating with the infants that we didn't even know exist. Mm-hmm. And so she showed us, and she took time giving us goals to work on, and she'd go back, and if we needed a little bit more time, she made sure that we got it and we were comfortable with it, instead of just throwing us out there and not giving us very much guidance. So she did a good job, I felt like.
Yeah, so I agree with her. Also, I think when we tried to address things that we thought were the right way, she was very polite and tried to redirect us to the right way, but always with respect, like giving options, other ideas. So she never said, no, that is wrong, you can't do that. So maybe it was wrong, but she didn't. She gave us the message in a different way, so we were able to see other ways to the goal or to achieve the goal. So yeah,
she was very positive, and she didn't look at she found something good out of the situation, and that helped a lot. Gave you confidence, like, hey, you can do this.
How would you describe the impact of the trainings and coaching on your ability to support all of the children with their social, emotional, and behavioral needs?
Well, I think it just helped the guidelines that she gave us to help us at first, because we weren't sure. And she would just like give us ideas that helped us just to look at it a different way, and it made it helpful to, you might have been working on one child where you were able to use it when that child moves up, you were able to use it for the next child that comes into your room. Hey, this worked for so-and-so, let's try it. They're showing the symptoms of having a little bit of a difficulty. Let's just see if this works for them. And usually it helped, and it made you feel like, I don't know, it made it smoothly. Like you weren't even thinking about it anymore. You were just doing the motions, and it helped having that extra tool to be able to use in the classroom for all the children.
Yeah. So at the beginning, I told Tara that I was a little suspicious and dubious about how to work with the strategies she provided, because I thought it was a little silly, like they don't understand, they are just a baby, they are learning about the world. But then I realized that it really worked, the strategies. It took a little time for me to get used to it, and for them, of course, to pick on it. But then I realized that it was working for them, and also for us to I think it also helped that we were open to, both of us were a little dubious at the beginning, and this is kind of silly, but then we opened our mind and just give it a try, really try, and then we realized it worked. So yes,
it's nice when it works.
Yes.
Well, that,
yes.
And I remember, we're always doing something. There's not very much time to sit down and really do one-on-one, but we made sure where we worked it out with each other. We worked good as a team, and Tara helped us. So, like, one of you just sit down and just do that one-on-one with whatever you're working on. And it made you really stop what you're doing and, hey, I'm actually seeing what she's talking about, whatever we were working on at that moment. And it's like after that, you were having more opportunities to engage with the children. And the one, you might not even been working with that one kid, but you were able to bring them into whatever it was, and you're getting more than one-on-one. And it just, I don't know, it just helped. You can communicate with them a little bit better than you thought, like you're reading minds, but you're not really reading their mind, and they could read your mind, but they're really not reading. So it just helped because they were all engaged in it, and trust, that helped a lot. and they'd trust whatever we were working on, and it helped. Just made the class go smoothly more.
And time goes fast when they're engaged and we're engaged.
Yeah, it did. And it was a lot of fun. Then thinking about, oh no, who needs to be a diaper change? Oh no, who needs to be fed again? We didn't have to do that. We could have just, okay, this is fun. This is relaxing, you know. One of the things we worked on was having group time. That was one of the strategies that she wanted. I really wanted to have group time with the infants. And she made sure we were able, because we worked, you know, she'd be changing a diaper and I could sit down with them. And hers was working on reading a book. That was one of the strategies. And I would be changing the diapers or feeding, but she had that chance to work on reading them a book. And it helped just having that moment with those kids one-on-one, because that's what they needed. Instead of saying, who needs a diaper change? Who needs to be fed? You know, trying to fit it in when you can. You actually took time. All right, we're going to do this. Everybody's okay and calm. This is the opportunity to do it. And it helped. So she helped us see those opportunities when we didn't see it for ourselves.
That's great. So the next set of questions refers to the Tier 2 training that you participated in this last winter. How would you describe the overall effectiveness of that specific training and coaching that was provided?
I feel like we weren't able to do a whole lot, and it wasn't her fault. It had a lot to do with we were having problems with our management and teachers coming in, and we were short on staff. So I feel like we kind of rushed a little bit into Tier 2. Like we did work on some stuff, but it wasn't like Tier 1 where we had more time to actually work on it. And it wasn't her fault at all. It was just hard with management,
schedules.
Stuff like with staff. Yeah, I felt rushed in Tier 2.
The other thing that happened in Tier 2 is that when we identified one of the babies that would benefit from that, he didn't come for more than a month, so we couldn't work on that. And then we decided to work on another baby, but he wasn't like the perfect candidate, but just to see if we could so that was a problem with Tier 2.
How would you describe the effectiveness of the training and coaching in terms of supporting your ability to support an individual child's emotional or behavioral needs?
She did a really good job, as we had one that needed extra help outside of what we could give at this center. And she would go back to her team at Vanderbilt. Hey, we have this one child that needs a little bit of extra help. Is there any way, what can we do to help them? Because these teachers need help. Because we don't have enough staff to come in there to help us. This child had a feeding tube. And so that took out half of your time with the other kids, because it took an hour to just do the feeding tube, and sometimes he wouldn't keep it down. We had to clean it all up. So she was trying to get us some extra support and help. The only bummer part was it didn't work with our center, and we didn't get that. But at least she tried. You know, she said, "Whatever you need, I'll do the best I can." So at least she didn't have to do that. She wanted to do that, and that meant a lot to us, because we've been asking and we weren't getting anything. It made us feel kind of hopeless. So she helped make sure she could do her part. And she always would tell us after meetings, is there anything else I can do? Just email me anytime. I'll answer any questions. I'm not just leaving. I'm here even after we're done with all the training and all that. She said, I'll still be here. So they made us feel good that we still have that support available for us if we need it.
Yes. So talking about that child who has that condition, sometimes he wouldn't keep his food down. So it took both of us to clean all the mess while having 7 other children. Like, they want to, they're curious. They want to see it, and sometimes this baby would get really sick and he wouldn't stop throwing up. So there were days that Tara was there, and she would help with the other children, so we could take care of this boy and clean everything until he was fine again. So she was really, she was the extra hand that we needed sometimes. Yeah.
And she
just coaching us.
Yeah. And she tried to get somebody that needs some extra hours to come in to help, but that never worked out with our center. We wanted it, and she was trying to get us, but we never got it. So
Yes, I think it has to do with the change of we changed district managers, so that I think that was one of the problems.
Yeah.
But she was really willing to help us all the time with everything.
Yeah.
That's great.
And she would sit down and show us examples, and we would just copy what she was doing just to give us ideas and stuff. And that helped too, with her actually sitting down with the child, engaging, and we're watching what she's doing, whatever we were working on. And that helped too.
Good. All right. How would you describe the effectiveness of the debrief meetings?
They were fine. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes we didn't do stuff the right way, and she would always find the right words to redirect us to the right path. And even though sometimes we had bad days, she would always find something positive about. I mean, we couldn't see anything positive on that day because horrible days happen sometimes. But she always found a way to just reinforcing something that we did good that day. So, yes, I think the debrief were fine.
How would you describe your comfort level with the coaching and the debrief meetings?
I was nervous at first because I was like, I don't know, what are we getting into?
Yeah.
Is this more work? Because we already do a lot as it is. And she made it fun and made it very warming and relaxing, and like she said, you're already doing it. What she could see it. It's just we're just giving you some extra tools to help you make it even better than what you're already doing, and that helped because it's like I don't know what we're doing here. This is weird. I've never. But then it helped because then I could use it at my own home with my own children and my own husband, and that was nice. So, but her just doing that one-on-one time and the debriefs helped a lot.
Okay. In reference to data that you collected on your implementation and child behaviors, how feasible did data collection feel to you? Did you do any tallies of behaviors or write down certain about behaviors?
We had goals that she would put on our board, whatever. One was putting the children side by side, teaching each other how to communicate with one another. Maybe it's just rolling a ball or looking at a book together. And we had to, each child, we had to practice something that we were working on, teaching them how to communicate with one another. And then we do it individually too. At the beginning with tier 1. With the tally.
Most of the goals were related to help children communicate, and we would also have. She would bring like a tracker. You call it tracker?
Yeah.
To track how many times a day, or how many times a week we were able to do the activity.
Yeah.
So we had that on the window, and we also had for tier 2 we had 1, 2. And the goal for tier 2 was to help the child to self-soothe or something like that. So we were trying to see what strategies we used for that. So we were keeping track of the tracker that she used to bring for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that feel to you? That process of
we actually at first when we saw it, we were like, oh no, that's more work.
We have to keep track of that
too. But then it came easy because, all right, who needs, you just look on there. Okay, I need to go see how, you're be sitting there and you'll just be doing it. Oh, I can go and track that, whatever.
Yeah, whenever we go and update the board for diapers and feeding, we just go and update the tracker too. So it came easy at the beginning. It was like mentally exhausting for us. We had to keep track of so many stuff, but then we just
made it work.
Yes, it made it work. Every time we had to go to the board to have the information for the children, we also updated the other one, or she did it for her, or she did it for me.
Yeah, because I would come in before she did, so I would work on a little bit of it, and then she would work on whatever needs to be done when she came in.
At the beginning it was hard, but then it got easy.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you change the process around data collection to make it more feasible? Is there anything you would change or add?
I'm not really sure because it's kind of hard because we're already doing a whole lot in there. So I actually felt like, I don't know how you would make it easier.
I think the way she was doing it was fine because she used to have the debrief, and then she used to send us emails to
ask us how it was going.
A summary of the meeting. So I think the way she did it was fine.
Yeah. So I don't know if there would be any other.
Anything. She always tried to make it easy for us.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest barrier or challenge to implementing the pyramid model?
The biggest challenge?
I guess just having more time because,
So it's hard to.
Sometimes I wasn't in the room with her. I had to go to another room, so we weren't able to work on a lot of this stuff together. Because a lot of it was together. They always moved me to another room because I needed my help, and so that made it really difficult to on whatever we needed to work on for that week for Tara.
The most challenging part for me, the challenging part was when we had this kid who was sick. He needed a lot of time from us, and sometimes we would even fall behind on feedings and diapers because we had to attend just to him like for 20-25 minutes, just one child when we have 7 other children.
Or it made it harder for her when she was by herself with that child too.
Because I can have 5 children. If we have 1-year-old, and he was the oldest one because they took longer to move him because of his condition. So when I was by myself with her, when she had to do the feeding tube, there were other 4 children unattended. So that was the most challenging part. And also sometimes we tried to work on the goals, but then he would have really bad weeks. That he would throw up all day. So we were constantly cleaning him, helping him, and then trying to catch up with all the basic needs that the other babies need. So we couldn't work a lot on the goal sometimes. But yes, I think that was, when he moved up, it was a little better.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the other teacher because we knew how hard it was. But I think that was the most challenging part, having him and not having an extra hand.
Specifically, how feasible do you think implementing the practices was in your classroom?
By feasible, what do you mean?
How did it go with implementation of all of those things in your classrooms? You've touched on that a little bit. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think it went fine with most of the goals. And personally, there was a goal that I really enjoyed. That was when we worked on language, because we had a baby who was really smart there, and both of us enjoyed working with that goal. But then I found myself just working with that child because I knew he was going to I would have a reward, and then there would be reciprocity with that child. So sometimes I forgot about the other ones. But it was all the goals were fine to use them, and Tara always helped us, giving us ideas and strategies to do it the right way and improve it. So
I liked it when one of the goals that we worked on, we would show them a picture of a cow, and we would just say cow. We would wait for them to touch the cow, and if they didn't, then we would touch the cow and say cow. And eventually we didn't have to do that. They would just, when you would say cow, they were touching it, and it was kind of cool to see them get. That was one of our goals, to actually get it. And it's like, wow, this is cool. They're listening, and they're they're like, they're getting it. So it was really exciting to tell the parents that what they're learning and catching on to it. And that was one of our goals, and I really enjoyed that. It was fun.
That's
Seeing them catch on to that.
What has been the biggest barrier or challenge you face when participating specifically in trainings and or coaching?
I guess ours was, like we said, was time and getting work together. That was really hard because I didn't feel like we were getting enough time to work together on whatever the goal was on that second tier. So yeah, move kids or move me out a lot.
Yeah.
That was hard. But she was really patient about if we needed more time on whatever that goal was, we would get it. But we felt like we were rushed, just to get it done, And that's not her fault. It's just the way it worked out.
What has been the greatest benefit to implementing the pyramid model and participating in training and coaching?
For us or the children?
Yes, and
Both.
Well, I think it's cool when how we taught them how to communicate with one another. We're actually seeing them play together. And we had this shelf, and we were teaching them how one would stand on one side of the shelf and the other one would be on the other. And they were like, hey, do you see what so-and-so has over there? Look, she has a red car. And we were teaching that child to look at their peer because they're always looking at us, teaching them how to engage with one another. And that was really neat to see that they were catching on to what we were doing, and then they do it on their own now. And that was really nice that they're actually playing together for being less than 1 year old. Usually it's just they want to have you and that's it, and we've taught them to do that, and they just do it on their own now, and it's nice. Because then you can get whatever else you need to get done, or you could just hang out with them, communicating with one another through stuff like that.
Yes, and when we started with this training, we just met that month. I think it was like a week ago when we started this, so it helped us build a relationship as a friendship and also as co-workers, because we have to communicate a lot and talk a lot. So I think that also benefited us as co-workers.
Yeah, like she came, were you just a month?
Less than a month, because I started in January the 8th or something, and the following week we had to start.
We were going to Vanderbilt.
The following week.
Wow. So it's helped us. We really have, and now we do stuff together with our families, so that helped as well.
What types of support would you need to be able to sustain use or keep using the pyramid model?
Really an extra hand.
Yeah.
An extra hand.
Yeah. That's hard.
Because most of our day go just meeting the baby's basic needs. And we have little time to sit and have group time. Or we take advantage of the meal times for them to be facing each other for interaction and noticing that there is another person over there. But the other stuff, I mean, sometimes I'm feeding people and she's changing diapers, so the other kids are mostly doing free play at that moment. So
some days go smoother than others too. You just never know.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No.
All right. Well, that's all of the questions that I have for you today.